Ambassador Jiwoo Park walked through the massive doors of the council chamber. Her footsteps echoed in the enormous space. The chamber was built to make visitors feel small. It had worked on every species for 12,000 years. Today would be different. The Galactic Council sat in their elevated seats. 47 species looked down at her. Some had scales, some had fur. Others were made of light or crystalline structures. All of them watched her with the same expression. They thought they knew why she was here. They were wrong. "Ambassador Park," said Council Chair Velthara. Her insect-like body clicked and hummed. "You requested this emergency session. The Council grants you 5 minutes to speak." Jiwoo smiled. It was not a warm smile. "I will need less than that." She pressed a button on her datapad. Holographic images filled the chamber, documents, recordings, evidence collected over 3 years. The council members shifted in their seats. Some leaned forward, others pulled back. "For 3 years, humanity has been investigating the council's activities," Jiwoo said. Her voice was calm and clear. "What we found is disturbing. The council has been lying to the galaxy." Velthara's mandibles clicked sharply. "Ambassador, you forget your place. The council has maintained peace for 12,000 years, yes, I know the speech." Jiwoo pressed another button. New images appeared. "But that peace came at a terrible cost. The council has been harvesting resources from worlds you call primitive. You label them as under protective observation, but you are really just stealing from them." Angry voices filled the chamber. Several ambassadors stood up. Others shouted protests. Jiwoo waited for the noise to fade. She had expected this reaction. An ambassador from the Archon species spoke. His voice was ancient and cold. "These worlds cannot manage their own resources. We provide guidance. We prevent chaos." "You prevent progress," Jiwoo corrected. She displayed more evidence. "The Krival invented faster-than-light communication. Twice. Both times council agents destroyed their research labs. You called them accidents. The Talmora developed advanced agriculture that could feed billions. Your inspectors declared it unsafe and confiscated everything. The Velshari created beautiful art that expressed complex emotions. You told them they were too unstable for space travel and isolated them completely." The chamber grew quiet. Some council members would not meet her eyes. Others stared at the evidence with shocked expressions. A few looked angry but not surprised. They had known all along. "You have been suppressing the development of younger species," Jiwoo continued, "not to protect them, to control them, to keep them weak so they cannot challenge council authority. You built your order on the backs of those too small to fight back." Velthara struck her speaking stone. The sound rang through the chamber. "Enough! These are serious accusations. You have no authority to investigate the council. Humanity joined us only 80 years ago. You are children playing at politics you do not understand." Jiwoo's smile returned. This time, it was sharp. "That is where you are wrong. We understand perfectly. And we are done playing your games." She pressed one final button. New documents appeared. These showed official seals, signatures, legal declarations. "Effective immediately, humanity is withdrawing from all council treaties. We are ending our alliance. We are severing all diplomatic ties with this body." The chamber exploded with noise. Ambassadors shouted. Some stood. Others activated their communication devices. Velthara struck her speaking stone again and again, but no one paid attention. Jiwoo spoke over the chaos. Her voice carried through the chamber. "Furthermore, humanity is opening direct diplomatic relations with the 217 species this council has labeled too primitive for representation. We are offering them what you never did: knowledge, technology, partnership, freedom." "This is an act of war," someone shouted. "No," Jiwoo said quietly. The chamber slowly fell silent. Everyone wanted to hear what she would say next. "This is an act of conscience. We came to the stars hoping to find wisdom among older species. Instead, we found oppression dressed up as order. We will not be part of it anymore. An ambassador from the Zenth Consortium stood. He was tall and covered in golden fur. Ambassador Park, please reconsider. The Council can discuss reforms. We can... Reforms. Ji-Woo laughed, but there was no humor in it. The Council has had 12,000 years to reform itself. Instead, you became comfortable with exploitation. You convinced yourselves it was necessary, that it was for the greater good. But there is no greater good that requires crushing others beneath you. She gathered her datapad and prepared to leave. Before she reached the door, she turned back. Humanity will share everything we have learned. Every species in the galaxy will know what the Council has done. Then they can decide for themselves who they want to represent them. As Ji-Woo walked toward the exit, the massive doors opened. Another human entered. Ambassador Min-Jun Choi walked in carrying data cases. Behind him came human assistants with more evidence, boxes and boxes of it. Ambassador Choi will remain to answer any questions, Ji-Woo said. He has complete documentation of every suppressed civilization, every sabotaged invention, every lie the Council told. We collected it all. She paused at the door one last time. The galaxy is changing whether you want it to or not. The only question is whether the Council will change with it or become a memory. Then she was gone. The doors closed behind her with a sound like thunder. Inside the chamber, chaos erupted again. Ambassadors shouted at each other. Old alliances began to crack. Accusations flew back and forth. Velthara stared at the mountain of evidence Min-Jun was unpacking. For 12,000 years, the Council had controlled the galaxy. They had maintained order. They had kept the peace. They had done terrible things and called them necessary. Now a species barely 80 years old had exposed everything. And the worst part, the part that made Velthara's heart sink, was simple. The humans were right. The galaxy would never be the same again. The Council chamber had never been so loud. Ambassadors shouted at each other across the circular room. Some demanded answers, others made threats. A few sat in shocked silence, staring at the evidence spread before them. Council Chair Velthara struck her speaking stone over and over. The sound usually brought instant silence. Today, no one listened. 12,000 years of order was crumbling in a single afternoon. "This is humanity's fault!" shouted Ambassador Krelvin from the Dorian Collective. His scales flashed angry red. "They come into our galaxy and immediately cause chaos. We should have never accepted them." The humans did not cause this. The voice came from Ambassador Teoren of the Zenth Consortium. His golden fur rippled as he stood. They simply revealed what was already here: corruption, exploitation, lies. "You dare accuse this council?" An Archon representative rose. His crystalline body glowed with cold light. "We maintained peace when your species was still living in caves. We created order from chaos. You created a prison and called it order," Teoren interrupted. "The evidence is clear. How many civilizations did you suppress? How many times did you sabotage their progress?" The Archon's light flickered. "Necessary actions. Young species are dangerous. They must be guided carefully." "Guided?" Teoren gestured to the documents Min-Jun had spread across the chamber floor. "This is not guidance. This is control. There is a difference." Velthara finally managed to restore some order. "Enough. We must discuss this rationally. Ambassador Choi, please explain humanity's evidence." Min-Jun stood calmly in the center of the chamber. He had prepared for this moment. "The evidence shows a pattern going back 6,000 years. Whenever a protected species approaches technological breakthrough, Council agents intervene. Sometimes they destroy research. Sometimes they cause political instability. Sometimes they simply steal the technology and claim it was never invented." He pulled up a hologram showing the Creevil homeworld. The Kreval invented FTL communication 800 years ago. Your records show a laboratory fire destroyed all research. But our investigation found something interesting. Council ships were in orbit that day. Their weapon signatures matched the energy that started the fire. Several ambassadors shifted uncomfortably. Others looked at the Archon representatives with new suspicion. Minjun continued. The Talmora developed agricultural technology that could have transformed their world. Council inspectors declared it unsafe and removed it. But security footage shows those same inspectors installing the technology on Council agricultural worlds. You stole their invention and left them hungry. "These are lies!" someone shouted. "They are documented facts," Min Jun replied calmly. "Every claim has corresponding evidence, video recordings, communication logs, financial transactions. We have spent 3 years collecting proof. We have witnesses ready to testify. Many of them are council employees who disagreed with these actions." The chamber fell silent. The implication was clear. This was not just human accusations. Council members themselves had helped expose the truth. Velthara's voice was quiet. "How many species has humanity contacted?" "So far, 47, Minjun said. "We are preparing to contact 170 more. All of them have been suppressed by council policies. We are offering them technology-sharing agreements, trade partnerships, cultural exchange programs, and most importantly, freedom to develop at their own pace." "You cannot do this!" The Archon representative's light blazed. "This will destroy the galactic order. These species are not ready. They will fight each other. They will destroy themselves." "That is their choice to make," Minjun said. "Not yours, not ours. Every species deserves the right to succeed or fail on their own terms." An ambassador from a small species in the Outer Rim stood. She had been silent until now. "What does humanity want in return? For this freedom you offer?" Minjun smiled. "Nothing. We ask only that they remain independent. We will not demand alliances or loyalty. We do not want servants or subjects. We want equals." The ambassador sat down slowly, clearly confused. The concept seemed foreign to her. In the council's system, everything had a price. Nothing was given freely. Velthara looked at the evidence surrounding her. "The council must vote on how to respond to humanity's actions. But first, we must investigate these claims." "Investigate all you want," Minjun said. "But humanity is not waiting for your permission. While you debate, we are already meeting with the species you oppressed. Every day you delay, more of them will learn the truth." "Then we must act quickly," said Krelvin. His scales flashed a deeper red. "I propose we declare humanity a rogue actor. We send fleets to stop their interference with protected worlds. We show them the cost of challenging council authority." Several ambassadors voiced agreement, but others remained silent. Tehren stood again. "I cannot support military action," he said. "The Zenth Consortium is withdrawing our ambassador from this council until these matters are resolved. We will not be part of punishing those who expose wrongdoing." Gasps filled the chamber. No species had ever voluntarily withdrawn from the council. The action was unprecedented. 3 more ambassadors stood, small species from remote sectors. "We request copies of the human evidence. Our governments must see this information." Velthara realized she was losing control. The council was fracturing. Species that had worked together for millennia were suddenly questioning everything. All because one young species had dared to say the Emperor had no clothes. "We will vote on declaring humanity rogue actors," Velthara announced. "All in favor?" Hands, claws, tentacles, and other appendages rose. 23 species voted yes. It should have been more than enough for a declaration, but then Velthara counted the abstentions. 12 species refused to vote. According to council law, such important declarations required a 2/3 majority. They were short by 4 votes. The measure failed. Krelvin erupted in rage. "This is intolerable. The Council cannot function like this. We must act." "The Council has functioned by its own rules for 12,000 years, Teheran said calmly. "Now those rules protect humanity instead of oppressing others. Perhaps that shows the rules were fair after all." Minjun gathered his data pads. "The Council can spend as long as it wants debating. Humanity will continue our work. We have already sent delegations to 18 worlds. More launch tomorrow. You can try to stop us, but every action you take will be broadcast across the galaxy. Everyone will watch how the mighty Council responds to exposure of its crimes." He walked toward the exit, then paused. "My government gave me one final message to deliver. Humanity did not want to be your enemy. We came to the stars hoping for partnership. But we will not stay silent while others suffer. If that makes us your enemy, so be it. We have faced worse odds before." The doors closed behind him. Inside the chamber, the shouting began again. But something had changed. For the first time in 12,000 years, the Galactic Council was truly afraid. They were afraid because they knew the humans were right. Captain Su-Jin Lee watched the planet grow larger on her view screen. Kreval looked peaceful from orbit. Blue oceans, green continents, white clouds. It was hard to believe this world had been a prison for 800 years. "Captain, we are receiving a transmission from the surface," said her communications officer. "The Kreval government wants to know our intentions." Su-Jin straightened her uniform. "Tell them we come in peace. We have information they need to see. Ask permission to land." There was a long pause. Su-Jin understood the hesitation. The Kreval had only ever known one kind of visitor from space. Council inspectors who told them what they could and could not do, who said they were too violent, too unstable for the stars, who kept them locked on their own world for generations. "Captain, they are granting landing permission, but they sound very suspicious." "Good," Su-Jin said. "Suspicious is better than blindly trusting. They have been lied to for too long." The human ship descended through the atmosphere. It was small compared to Council vessels. Humanity had learned that showing up with large warships sent the wrong message. Today they came as visitors, not conquerors. The landing site was surrounded by Kreval soldiers. They were tall beings with 4 arms and skin that changed color with their emotions. Right now, they all showed cautious yellow patterns. Their weapons were primitive by galactic standards, but still dangerous. Su-Jin made sure her crew kept their hands visible and empty. A Kreval official approached. His skin shifted to formal blue patterns. "I am Governor Kelthan. The Council told us humans are rogue actors causing trouble across the galaxy. They warned us you might come here." "The Council would say that," Su-Jin replied. "May we speak somewhere private? What we have to show you is not for open spaces." Kelthon studied her carefully. "You may bring 2 others. No weapons." "We have no weapons," Su-Jin said honestly. "We did not come here to fight." Inside the government building, Su-Jin and her team set up their presentation equipment. Kelthon brought his top advisors, scientists, military leaders, historians. All of them watched with suspicious yellow patterns on their skin. Su-Jin began simply. 800 years ago, your scientists invented faster-than-light communication. Do you remember what happened?" An elderly Kreval scientist spoke. Her skin showed patterns of old sadness. "The laboratory burned. All the research was lost. 70 scientists died. The Council declared it an unfortunate accident." "It was not an accident." Su-Jin displayed the evidence. Council ship logs, weapon signatures, communications between Council agents. "The Council destroyed your laboratory. They murdered your scientists. Then they took the research and used it themselves." The room erupted. Kreval's skin flashed angry red patterns. Voices rose in outrage and disbelief. Kelthon raised his hands for silence. His own skin rippled with barely controlled fury. "You have proof of this?" "Complete documentation," Su-Jin said, "but that is not the only time it happened." She showed more evidence. 600 years ago, you invented faster-than-light communication again. Different scientists, different approach. The Council caused a political crisis that diverted all funding from the project. 300 years ago, another attempt. The Council arranged for the lead scientist to be discredited and exiled. The elderly scientist was weeping. Her skin showed patterns of grief mixed with rage. "They told us we were too violent, too unstable. They said we would destroy ourselves if we reached the stars. We believed them. We thought something was wrong with us." "Nothing is wrong with you," Su-Jin said gently. "The Council lied because the truth was worse. You were about to surpass them. Your communication technology was better than theirs. They could not allow that. So they kept you here and called it protection." Kelthon stared at the evidence for a long time. His skin cycled through many colors. Finally, he spoke. "Why are you telling us this? What does humanity want?" "We want to help you stand on your own," Su-Jin said. "We are not offering to give you technology. We are offering to work with you. Human engineers can partner with your scientists. We share our knowledge. You develop your own versions. You learn not just what works, but why it works." A military advisor spoke. His skin showed skeptical orange. "The Council gave us technology too, but we never understood how it worked. When it broke, we had to call them to fix it." "You are saying your way is different?" "Very different," Su-Jin confirmed. "The Council wanted you dependent. We want you independent. If you understand the principles, you can improve on what we teach you. You can make it better. Maybe you will teach us something new." The elderly scientist looked up. "You would learn from us, a species you consider primitive." "We do not consider you primitive," Su-Jin said firmly. "We consider you equals who have been held back by others. Every species has something unique to offer. Every perspective has value." Over the next 3 days, human engineers worked with Kreval scientists, not as teachers and students, but as partners. They explained principles rather than just showing results. They encouraged questions. They admitted when they did not know something. The Kreval began to change. Their skin patterns showed less suspicion and more excitement. Scientists who had spent decades thinking they were failures discovered they had been sabotaged. Ideas they had abandoned as impossible turned out to be brilliant. On the 4th day, a Kreval scientist burst into the work area. His skin flashed patterns of pure joy. "It works. Our communication system works. We built it ourselves." Su-Jin smiled. "Of course it works. We knew it would." "But the Council said—" "The Council lied," Su-Jin interrupted. "They always lied. Now you know the truth. What will you do with it?" Kelthon came to see Su-Jin before she departed. His skin showed complex patterns she could not fully read. "Word is spreading. Other worlds under Council protection are hearing about what happened here. They want what we have: freedom, truth, partnership. Humanity has delegations ready to visit them," Su-Jin said, "if they want us. The Council will not allow this. They will send ships. They will try to stop you." Su-Jin looked out at the Kreval city. Scientists were already implementing their new communication technology. The first messages to other worlds were being prepared. Let them try. Every world will be watching. The Council can either adapt or show everyone what they really are. As her ship lifted off, Su-Jin received a priority message. Council warships were moving toward 3 worlds where humans were working. Jiwoo's message was simple. "Stand your ground. We did not come this far to back down now." Su-Jin set course for the nearest contested system. The Talmora needed help, and humanity did not abandon people who needed them. The Council wanted to restore their order. Humanity was going to show them what true order looked like. Not control from above, but cooperation between equals. Not suppression of the different, but celebration of diversity. The galaxy was changing, and there was no going back. Ambassador Hyun-Woo Kang stood on the surface of Talmora and watched the Council warships descend from orbit. There were 12 of them. Large vessels designed to intimidate. They hung in the sky like dark clouds promising storms. "Ambassador, we should evacuate," said his security chief. "Those ships have enough firepower to level this entire city." "That is exactly why we are staying," Hyun-Woo said calmly. "If we run, the Council wins. The Talmora will think they are abandoned. Every other species watching will think humanity is all talk and no action. But if they fire, they will not fire. Not with the entire galaxy watching." Hyun-Woo activated his communication array, broadcasting on all open channels. Every species with a receiver can watch what happens next. The largest council ship landed near the human delegation building. Admiral Velkun emerged. His species resembled armored reptiles. His scales gleamed in the Talmora sunlight. Behind him came a full military escort. "Ambassador Kang!" Velkun's voice boomed across the plaza. "By authority of the Galactic Council, I order you to cease all operations on Talmora immediately. You will leave this world within 1 hour or face detention." Hyun-Woo walked forward to meet him. He wore no armor, carried no weapons. Just diplomatic credentials and a data pad. "Good afternoon, Admiral. I am afraid I cannot comply with your order." Velkun's scales darkened with anger. "This is not a negotiation. You are interfering with a protected world. You are violating Council law." "What law?" Hyun-Woo asked. "Humanity is no longer bound by Council treaties. We withdrew from all agreements. So by what authority do you make demands of us?" "By the authority of 12,000 years of galactic peace." "Peace built on lies," Hyun-Woo said. "Peace that required oppressing those too weak to resist. That is not peace, Admiral. That is just very organized cruelty." A crowd had gathered. Talmora citizens watched the confrontation. They were a gentle species, agricultural, peaceful. The Council had told them for 600 years they were too primitive for space travel, too simple to understand complex technology. Hyun-Woo turned to address the cameras, broadcasting everything. "The Council wants me to leave Talmora. They say they are protecting this world. But let me ask a simple question. By what right?" Velkun stepped closer. "By the right of maintaining order. Young species need guidance. They need freedom," Hyun-Woo interrupted. "Freedom to succeed. Freedom to fail. Freedom to make their own choices. The Council does not offer guidance. The Council offers control. There is a tremendous difference." "You are naive," Velkun said. "These species are not ready. They will fight each other. They will destroy themselves." "Then that is their choice to make, not yours, not mine. Every species deserves the chance to determine their own future." Hyun-Woo gestured to the Talmora around them. "Ask them. Do they want Council protection or do they want freedom?" Velkun's scales rippled with frustration. "It does not matter what they want. They do not understand the dangers. The Council knows what is best." "The Council knows what is best for the Council," Hyun-Woo corrected. "Not for anyone else." A Talmora official stepped forward. Her name was Sarnell. She was the elected leader of the planetary government. She looked small, standing between the human and the armored admiral. But her voice was steady. "Admiral Velkun, I have an announcement to make. The Talmora government wishes to share something with the galaxy." Velkun turned to face her. "Citizen, return to your home. This is Council business." "No," Sarnell said. "This is Talmora business, and I will speak." She activated a data pad. Holographic images appeared above the plaza. Technical schematics, research documents, functioning prototypes. For the past 200 years, Talmora scientists have been developing technology in secret. We hid it from council inspectors. We knew if you saw what we were creating, you would take it or destroy it. Gasps came from the crowd. Even Hyun-woo looked surprised. He had not known this. Sarnell continued. We developed faster-than-light communication, advanced agriculture, medical technology that could cure diseases that kill millions. We hid all of it, because we learned long ago that the Council does not protect us. The Council controls us. She pulled up more evidence. Here are recordings of Council agents sabotaging our research. Here are communications showing how the Council stole our agricultural innovations. Here are financial records proving the Council sold our technology to other worlds while keeping us hungry. Velkun's scales paled. This is not possible. Our inspections are thorough. Your inspections found what we wanted you to find, Sarnell said. We learned to hide things very well. We had 600 years of practice. She turned to address the cameras. The Council calls us primitive. Too simple for space. But we built technology equal to theirs while they actively worked against us. What does that say about who is truly advanced? The crowd of Talmora erupted in cheers. People who had spent their entire lives believing they were lesser suddenly realized the truth. They were not primitive. They had been sabotaged. Hyun-woo smiled. It seems the Talmora do not need council protection after all. Velkun struggled to respond. His entire justification had collapsed. The primitive species he came to protect had revealed they were not primitive at all. Worse, they had evidence of council crimes, evidence being broadcast to every world in the galaxy. This changes nothing, Velkun finally said. The council still has authority. What authority? A voice called out. More ships descended from orbit. But these were not council vessels. The Zenth Consortium had arrived. Other species followed. Small nations from the Outer Rim. Systems that had quietly supported humanity's position. A Zenth ambassador emerged from their ship. We are here to witness. The galaxy is watching, Admiral. What will the Council do? Will you attack diplomats? Will you punish the Talmora for being too successful at hiding their advancement? Velkun was trapped. If he attacked, he proved humanity's accusations. If he retreated, he showed Council weakness. Either way, the Council lost. This is not over, Velkun said. His scales had gone nearly white. The Council will respond to this insubordination. The Council is welcome to try, Hyun-woo said. But every action you take is being recorded. Every world is watching. Every species that has suffered under Council control is seeing what you really are. As Velkun's ships departed, Hyun-woo received messages from across the galaxy. 17 more species had declared independence from Council oversight. They were sharing their own evidence of sabotage, their own stories of suppression. Sarnell approached Hyun-woo. Thank you for giving us the courage to speak. We have been silent for so long. You found your own courage, Hyun-woo said. Humanity just reminded you it was there all along. That night, an emergency council session was called. The hardliners demanded overwhelming military response. The moderates argued for negotiation. But for the first time in 12,000 years, the council could not reach agreement. The vote split evenly. Some species wanted to crush the rebellion. Others recognized the rebellion was justified. A few quietly began contacting humanity about switching sides. The galaxy had reached a tipping point. The old order was crumbling. Something new was being born, and no one knew exactly what it would become. But Hyun-woo knew one thing with certainty. Whatever came next would be built on freedom, not control. On cooperation, not domination. On truth, not comfortable lies. The human way was spreading across the stars. Jiwoo Park returned to the council chamber 6 months after she had walked out. But this time, she was not alone. 50 ambassadors walked beside her. They represented species the Council had called primitive, species that had been hidden away, species that had been told they were not good enough for the stars. The chamber was designed to hold 47 seats. Today, it held 97 beings and felt crowded. Some ambassadors had to stand, others sat in the aisles. The physical space was too small for what was happening. It was a perfect metaphor. Council Chair Velthera struck her speaking stone. The sound echoed through the packed chamber. "This is highly irregular. These species do not have representation rights." "That is about to change," Jiwoo said. She walked to the center, speaking platform. The ambassadors she had brought formed a circle around her. "These 50 species have asked humanity to speak for them today. Tomorrow they will speak for themselves, but today we speak together." She activated the holographic display. "For 6 months, the galaxy has been watching. You have seen species you called primitive reveal technology equal to or better than Council standards. You have seen evidence of systematic sabotage. You have seen the truth about how the Council maintained its power." Angry muttering filled parts of the chamber, but other sections remained silent. Many species were listening carefully. A young Kreval ambassador stepped forward. His skin showed confident blue patterns. "I am Korthen. 6 months ago, my people believed we were too violent for space. Then humans showed us the truth. We were not violent. We were suppressed. Now we have technology the Council said we could never achieve. We built it ourselves, with human partnership, but by our own hands." A Talmora ambassador spoke next. "I am Sarnell. The Council told us we were too simple, too agricultural. But we hid advanced technology for 200 years right under your noses. We did this because we knew you would take it if you found it. We were right." One by one, ambassadors from liberated species shared their stories. The Velshari, told they were too emotional, displayed art that moved even cynical council members. The Morkesh, labeled too aggressive, presented diplomatic frameworks more sophisticated than council protocols. The Xantir, declared too primitive, revealed mathematical proofs that would advance galactic science by decades. The pattern was clear. These species were not primitive. They had been made to seem primitive through sabotage and suppression. An Archon representative finally spoke. His crystalline body dimmed with something that might have been shame. "Even if your accusations are true, what do you want? To destroy the Council? To punish us? To take our place at the top of the hierarchy?" "No," Jiwoo said firmly. "We want to end the hierarchy. We want to create something better." She displayed a new document. "Humanity proposes the reformation of the Galactic Council. The new system would work like this. Every sapient species gets representation. Not just the old powerful ones. Everyone. Decisions require real consensus, not just majority votes from the dominant species. All technology sharing becomes open and transparent. No species can prevent another from developing." "This is chaos," said an ambassador from the Dorian Collective. "How can we govern with hundreds of voices all demanding different things?" "You govern by actually listening to those voices," Jiwoo replied. "Democracy is messy. It is loud. It is complicated. But it is fair, and it does not require oppressing anyone to function." "The young species will fight each other," Velthera said. Her voice sounded tired. "Without council guidance, there will be wars. There will be destruction." Jiwoo nodded. "Perhaps. Some species might make terrible mistakes. Some might fail, but they will be their own mistakes. Their own failures, not consequences of council interference. And many will succeed in ways we cannot imagine, because they will be free to try." She paused. "The Council has had 12,000 years to perfect its system. You created stability. You prevented some wars. But you did it by crushing anyone who did not fit your vision. You valued order more than justice, control more than freedom. That is not peace. That is just very efficient oppression." The chamber fell silent. Even the hardliners had no immediate response, because deep down, They knew she was right. We propose a 5-year transition period, Jiwoo continued. The Council can gradually add new members, technology-sharing programs can be established, protected worlds can be given real independence, species that want to keep the old system can do so. But they cannot force others to join them. And if we refuse? Asked an Archon representative. Then the 217 species humanity has partnered with will form our own coalition, Jiwoo said. We will create our own trading networks, our own defense agreements, our own rules. The Council can continue as it wishes, but you will no longer control the galaxy. You will just be one alliance among many. It was not a threat. It was a simple statement of fact. The galaxy had already changed. The question was whether the Council would change with it. Velthara called for a vote. The chamber buzzed with tense conversation. Ambassadors consulted with their home governments, argued with each other, formed temporary alliances. Finally, the vote began. All in favor of accepting humanity's reformation proposal? 23 hands rose. Then more. 30. 35. Species that had opposed humanity's initial actions now saw no other choice. The old system was broken. Better to guide the new system than be left behind by it. All opposed? 15 hands rose, mostly the oldest species, those who had benefited most from the old hierarchy. The Archons, some of the founding council members. They could not accept a galaxy where they were not automatically superior. Abstentions? 9 hands, species caught between the old and new, unsure which path was right. The measure passed, barely, but it passed. Velthara's mandibles clicked in a way that might have been a sigh. The Council accepts humanity's proposal. The Reformation will begin immediately. Cheers erupted from the newly arrived ambassadors. Tears fell from some who had never thought they would see this day. Others stood in shocked silence, unable to believe freedom was real. Jiwoo felt no triumph, only relief and exhaustion. The Council has made the right choice. Humanity pledges to support this transition, but we will not lead it. This new galaxy must be built by everyone together, not dictated by any one species. Over the next weeks, the Reformation began. New ambassadors arrived daily. The Council chamber was expanded. Protocols were rewritten. Technology-sharing agreements were signed. Protected worlds received apologies and reparations. It was messy, loud, sometimes frustrating. Species argued about everything. Nothing came easily, but it was also vibrant, creative, full of possibility. 6 months after the Reformation vote, Jiwoo stood in the gallery watching a council session. 200 species debated trade policy. A Krevale ambassador proposed an amendment. A Talmora ambassador seconded it. An Archon representative grudgingly admitted it was a good idea. Sujin and Hyunwoo joined her. They watched the chaos below. We broke the galaxy, Sujin said with a smile. No, Minjun corrected, joining them. We freed it. Jiwoo watched a young Velshari ambassador present her species' first independent trade proposal. The council listened respectfully, not because they had to, because she had earned their attention. Do you think it will last? Hyunwoo asked. This new system? I do not know, Jiwoo admitted. It might fail. It might succeed beyond our dreams. But whatever happens, it will be everyone's choice. Not imposed from above, not controlled by the few. That is what matters. Below, the session continued. Species from across the galaxy working together, sometimes disagreeing, sometimes compromising, always moving forward. The old galaxy had been orderly, stable, built on the backs of those too weak to resist. The new galaxy was chaotic, uncertain, built on the hope that freedom was worth the risk. Humanity had not set out to change everything. They had simply refused to accept oppression as necessary. They had believed that all species deserved dignity, that cooperation was stronger than control, that the galaxy could be better. And they had been right.